Only that, where are you?
Books? No?
No, only that I would like to thank you very much for,
Yeah, going to do it on there.
I would just like to acknowledge what Kirsty's achieved during our first year as chair of this society, and she's helped to launch it and taken it from nothing to where we are now. Hopefully we will continue on that trajectory. But thank you, Kirsty, and thank you for your input into that today as well.
I'll wish Janet the best of luck in her new post, I suppose. With the support of the team that she has behind her, of course. Because I would say that it's no one person runs this society. It is a team effort, and without a team, you can't actually get anywhere. So it's not just one person who heads this up, and it is a team effort. If anybody wants to join that team, not necessarily on the committee, I don't mean, but in terms of any posts that you feel you can take up, we will have a committee meeting on the 8th of November, cunningly organised the day I arrived back from Canada. I thought the time difference might be a bit too challenging, but we will have a committee meeting then in terms of sorting out posts. So if anybody is willing to step up to the plate with whatever skills you have, if you could let either me, Janet, or anybody that's on the team that's here today, if you could let us know what skills you have, any particular post you feel that you'd be suitable for, because the society can only be as good as the people in it who actually put in the work. So if you're prepared to do that, we'd be delighted to hear from you. I'm going to shut up now and hand over to Phil to do a summary of the day.
First of all, I'd like to thank you very much for inviting me. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I've learned a lot. It's so nice to see so many people with shared interests who are keen and enthusiastic and can communicate their enthusiasm to someone like me. I said I did a one-place study many, many years ago. In fact, last year, that we've lived in Swindon for 25 years, my wife and I actually went into Swindon and tried looking at it as a place. It's an enormous, amorphous glob of modern development surrounding the Victorian bit that was built by Brunel. And it's lovely to know that my favourite pub was designed by Brunel. And he was the kind of designer who didn't just present a plan, but actually went around and said, I think we ought to change where that table's going to go. So it's nice to know that. And then we went up into the old part of town, the original part of Swindon that's been there since Doomsday, and went round measuring the plots and trying to spot, looking at the houses, seeing when the designs were changed and things like that. So you never know. I might possibly, now I realise it's only 10 quid to join, actually join you. I said might, very carefully, so thank you for that. Now, going back to the First World War, what have we learned today? Hopefully from me a little bit about some of the more unusual sources and ways of looking at them. Kate, with the war memorials, I think we learned that there's a lot more to them than just lists of names. There's politics of all kinds there. I said to her during the break that Highworth, which is the little part of Swindon just outside Swindon near where I live, that I've long been associated with, their war memorial was originally designed to have X number of names on it. When the time came, it was X minus 6, because they made a last minute decision to build it inside the grounds of the Anglican Church, and the nonconformists refused to have their names put on it. And then they put them in the nonconformist church. Little things like that you've got to be aware of, the politics behind war memorials. Kim, with her excellent study of Bratton Clovelly, the one thing I would say on that is statistics. I'm afraid statistics are boring, but you can get so much out of them if you have enough data and enough chance to look at it and analyse it. It's amazing the amount of information you can get. She was showing me the number of people who had served who died young, and saying that when you look back, almost all of them had been wounded during the war. So there's a legacy of the war that you wouldn't necessarily realise until you actually look at the figures and start analysing them. Simon and his war memorials, how did you do it so quick? I suppose a lot of it is because so much of it is online. I did my school one recently, and it's so easy to just go to the Commonwealth War Graves. You'd never be quite sure it's the right person, but it gives you enough of a clue to go and do some research. And self-publishing. Never thought of self-publishing particularly. I am published. I don't make any money out of it at all. and it sounds as if it might be an option for at least making some money and getting my expenses back for the books that I write. So I would encourage you to do something on self-publishing. Just, this stuff's got to be published. If we can do it ourselves, why not? Janet, and involvement. I'm involved in a big project, again in Highworth. We're lucky enough to have a chap who won a Victoria Cross in 1915. And we're doing a big project on him, which includes bringing a replica aeroplane, because he won it in the Royal Naval Air Service, over from Belgium. And I would say to the gentleman over there that yes, we put in for a grant from the National Lottery Fund, and yes, the paperwork is cosmic, but provided you read the questions right and give them the answers that you want, if you're looking at a longer term project that might involve a group and people and that is going to require money, then do consider it, because we got £8,500 as well. And with other grants from the Parish Council and assistance from Swindon Council, who wouldn't give us any money, but they've given us help. That project looks as if it's going to go ahead sort of May time next year, so well worth looking at. In our area, we are involving schools, but fortunately Highworth has its own school involvement team who have taken all the work off us. So if you look around, you may find that there are people out there who are prepared to assist and do that kind of work for you. I couldn't do it, I haven't got the patience. But there are people out there that would help. So all in all, I think it's been a brilliant day. I hope you've all learned something from it. I know I certainly have. Couple of things I was going to say. Janet mentioned the website where if you typed the bloke's name in, it wouldn't let you through. I had a vaguely similar incident at work a few years ago where I was running a small team of basically youngsters on the phone to people, and one of them phoned me up and said, I can't do data protection on this man. He's given me his date of birth and he's given me his address, but he says his name's Coburn, and it isn't. And I said, if your name was Cockburn, my dear, how would you pronounce it? Oh. So she went back and did the job. So it's not a unique problem. Final thing, 2 or 3 people have mentioned this in the course of their talks. It's something my wife made me promise that I would say to you. We're doing the First World War now. All the veterans of the First World War are dead. 25 years' time, a similar group, possibly some of the younger ones amongst us, I doubt myself, will be doing the same for World War II. So in the course of doing what you're doing on the First World War, if you find material relating to the Second World War, please at least write down where it is, or store it, or get it sent to a record office, or to the local museum, or something like that, because in 25 years' time, other people are going to be doing a similar project to you, and they will be incredibly grateful. So I'd like to thank you one more time for having me. I think I probably, if I get caught by Kirsty at some stage, will join the group. Thank you very much. Have a good trip home.